I would like to talk about something that's been near and dear to my heart for a very long time. I want to talk about these two quotes that I've read back when I was in college. These two quotes resonate with me, but also they coincide with each other, in my honest opinion. One quote is by Voltaire, and the other quote was by Ayn Rand. The first quote from Voltaire goes like this: "Everything is fine today. That is all illusion." I repeat what Voltaire said: "Everything is fine today. That is all illusion." Basically, people think that everything is fine in today's society, but that is our problem because we don't face reality for what it is. And that's why a lot of people are so messed up right now because we refuse to face reality for what it is. We refuse to face the problem. And the second quote, um, you can ignore reality, but you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. I repeat, the second quote by Ayn Rand goes like this: "You can ignore reality, but you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality." See, those two quotes right there that I just said goes hand in hand. It all boils down to people ignoring reality. You cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality because it'll be right there, right in front of your faces. Everything, everything that we say and do will be a consequence, man, whether we like it or not. Whether it's a good consequence or a bad consequence, you get what I'm saying? Whether it's good or bad, you know what I'm saying. You are going to be affected by it, man, one way or another. Listen, man, a lot of people are not up to game with this, man. A lot of people don't take these quotes in these books very seriously. When it comes to looking up information, doing research, what's the number one place you need to go to? You need to go to the library. You have to, you know what I'm saying? You have to go to the library. Or nowadays, like they say, go to the internet. But even then, you're still doing research, right? Educational research, right? But there you go. Do some educational researching, man. You'll find the answer for yourself. But overall, in my honest opinion, when it comes to Voltaire and Ayn Rand, those two quotes right there resonates with me because, in my honest opinion, it coincides with each other because it coincides with each other because it all deals with reality. It all deals with reality, man. Whether you rather face it or not. You get what I'm saying? You cannot ignore reality, man. It's right there in your face. But many people just want to act all I don't want to act all docile and ignorant to the point that when things starts to hit the fan, they don't want to pay attention to it or they just ignore it. But in the long run, eventually they cannot ignore it because it's going to get so bad to the point that not only is going to affect them, but also their loved ones. So it's best to pay attention to reality, man. It's best to pay attention to the things that's going on around you, man, because if you don't, you're going to fall. You're going to fall apart, man. You're going to fall. So, to those legendary quotes from those legendary figures have really changed my life. You know what I'm saying? It really did change my life, man, for the better. Because even for me, I cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. And for the sake of saying that everything is fine today, that is my illusion. That is so true. You know what I'm saying? People think that society is great right now. It's not really great. It's not really good right now, man. A lot of things that's really coming up right now. For example, our economic crisis here in America, and possibly and overseas as well. But right now, I'm an American, so I'll focus on American problems. So America. Listen, in my honest opinion, America's economy is a piece of shit. I repeat, America's economy is a piece of shit right now. So we need to buckle down and get back to business, in my honest opinion. But I understand about how racism and all that, and all the other bullshit and all that. I understand, but in my honest opinion, some things will never change, and one of the things that will never change is racism. Even though it's a man-made concept, In my honest opinion, racism will never change, and we just gotta, just take it up, just accept it for what it is, man, and just do the best we can. Um, but overall, though, man, I understand that we have social ills and social problems and all that stuff, and I get that. I understand those are major issues, but for the most part, man, the main premise, what I'm trying to say is that please, for the love of God, people, do not ignore reality, because sooner or later you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. That is our problem right there. So when it comes to Voltaire and Ayn Rand, with those two quotes that I just said, they were correct. And both of those quotes resonates, and it also coincides with each other. It goes hand in hand, man, like peanut butter and jelly. And that's all I gotta say about that, man. So that's all I gotta say. So yeah, man. So thank you so much, and have a good day.